When it comes to installing interior design projects on site during the construction phase, having a good contractor that you can trust is everything. But if you are not experienced enough or not really confident in this area just yet, then this process and everything around it can feel very overwhelming. Even though working with contractors is such an essential and huge part of what we do as interior designers, we are not really taught the ins and outs of working with a contractor. So if you're nodding along and you feel the overwhelm, you get me, then this video is for you. In part 1, which is this video that you are watching right now, we are going to be talking about the basics and the terminology that's used around this topic. I will go through the 3 main ways how interior designers can work with contractors, and we'll touch a little bit on the project management as well. In part 2, which will be linked below in the description, we will go through the process of selecting, briefing, and working with a contractor. Okay, so first let's establish what is a contractor. And a quick note before we start, I have to mention that the nuances of this topic may vary from country to country, as it does with everything, but overall the same strategies and concepts apply everywhere around the world. So you might have heard the term main contractor, fit out company, flooring contractor, tradesman, decorator. Let's make some sense in all of that. In the UK, if we say the main contractor, we refer to a company of a certain size that has an in-house team of professionals that are able to carry out the construction work. So anything from prepping the floors to installing new flooring to decorating to doing electrics, anything like that, this company is supposed to oversee all of that work. So this main contractor, the company, will have an in-house team that they employ, they pay a monthly salary. But because there is a lot of detailing, a lot of nuances to an actual construction process, they might not have all of the professionals in-house that they will need for a specific project. So they can also outsource for subcontractors, aka subbies, which then will join in on a certain project at a certain time. So for example, an in-house team is formed of people who work on most of the projects. So they will have a contract and a monthly salary. They are an employee. These usually are decorators, flooring fitters, or joiners. But then there might be other professionals that they don't really require on each project. So when the time is right, they would outsource them. So these could be additional decorators. Let's say that the base team is not enough, they need more people. It could be tilers, electricians, glazing specialists, HVAC consultants. The list can be quite extensive. Like I mentioned before, there is a lot going on a construction project, on a construction site, so it is quite normal for the main contractor to not have all of the specialties covered within their core team. So that's the basic setup. They will have a core team, they will have some subbies, but they are responsible for everyone, the core team and the subbies as well. Interior designers don't tend to hire contractors. We tend to put them forward for a specific job. And if the client is happy with the suggestion, then all communication around finances, legal agreements, contracts will go through the client and their team. But what if there is not one main contractor? This could happen if the client wants to manage the whole project themselves, or the client has outsourced their own project manager. And the third option could be that the interior designer is the project manager, which would mean that their responsibility would be to oversee the contractor's work as well. So let's dive deeper in these 3 options. Option 1 can often work out, yes, but it is also a very dangerous route. I'm sure you have heard, well, my dad's a tiler, he can do the tiling, or my cousin has a joinery company, they will do that work. When this is the case, then very often no one has signed a proper contract, everything is agreed on a handshake and on goodwill. So when things hit the fan, no one is legally responsible for anything.
Come on, mate, you know the rules. Try your best and cook the rest. No, bruv, I'm here for the income, not the outcome.
I have had an experience on a project where the client took on the project management themselves. I don't know what contracts he signed with all of the subbies and everyone who actually did the work. My experience with the client was great. Everything went smooth, but I do remember the client talking about the sleepless nights and the weekend work and a lot of struggles that went on during the process. When a project is carried out properly and there is a project manager on site in place, that usually means that everyone involved have signed contracts, the background check has been done, their criminal history, their work history, their health has been assessed. It's a lot of documentation that has to be in place to ensure a smooth and safe project delivery. So all of this work is usually done by a project manager. They could be an independent consultant, again hired by the client, or they could be a part of the main contractors team, which again could be a subby or could be a part of their in-house team. Choosing not to go this route, kind of the official route, can be seen as a cost-saving exercise, because obviously everything will involve extra cost. If you are hiring a standalone project manager, they will have their own costs. If you are using the main contractor's project manager, they will put extra margins in there to cover their back if things go wrong. So you can see how it could be tempting for the client to kind of just skip this step, have some handshakes and just hope for the best. But there's a lot that can go wrong and does go wrong on construction site, and those margins and those fees are there for a reason. It could be anything from misplacing materials, from damaging equipment, damaging the site, or even people getting injured and fatal accidents. So yeah, no one really wants to get involved without having the proper insurances, the proper policies and contracts in place. Okay, so for some reason you have decided to take on the project management, or this could also happen in bigger design studios where they do have a team of project managers. I'm pretty sure that kind of around the world you actually need a specific qualification in project management if you want to take on this responsibility. On smaller projects, it is doable. If you are a residential designer, you are only taking care of some small decorating works in 2 or 3 rooms in your client's house, that could work out. You can still kind of manage it in-house, but on larger commercial schemes or even larger residential schemes, project management is a very serious topic. So that is kind of the basics of the what and the why. Managing the construction phase is a big responsibility, and usually us designers are invited to be more like consultants in this stage and assist on daily basis, on weekly basis for a bit of a check-in or to update the designs if something has changed. So we are involved in this process, we are involved in this stage, but we do not take responsibility for any of the work that happens on site. If we put forward a contractor and they mess up or do something that's not really nice, then yes, that can hurt our reputation. But at the end of the day, you know, we are in the safe zone. Okay, so that's the end of part 1. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's move on to part 2, which is all about the how. How to know which contractor to go with, where to find them, and how to work with them. So I'll see you there.